Hi, I'm Jamie Andreas from GuitarPrinciples.com. I'd like to share with you some really important information about strumming in general and doing alternate basses with your strums in particular. You know, when we strum, we have to learn to always keep that motion going. We never stop that strumming hand. And a lot of times that's a hurdle for students to get over because they tend to stop when they come down, change their chord, and then come back up. But assuming you've got past those elementary hurdles, you might be venturing into doing alternate basses. And there's a similar type of problem that happens for people when doing alternate basses. And it is this. When we do alternate basses on guitar, we want to hear the bass note of the chord. And for this G chord to be that 6th string, for the C chord to be that 5th string, we want to hear them come out separate from the strum. Usually it's going to happen on beat number 1, it might happen on 1 and 3. What guitar students tend to do as they're going for that bass note is they'll be doing their strum, and when they need the bass note, they'll tend to stop their strum and try to just pick that individual string so it looks something like. Okay, obviously it disturbs the rhythm. Because the fact is, when we're doing alternate basses on guitar, we don't use the pick to pick those individual notes in the same way that we do if we're doing, for instance, those single note scale kind of things. There, of course, we want to be very precise and hit the string that we want. But when we're doing an alternate bass, we're really just aiming for the bass strings, the general area of the bass strings. And if we happen to hit one extra bass string, it really doesn't matter that much. So when I do the C chord, you hear that bass note. You might hear a little bit of the 4th string. Really, the effect depends on the fact that you hear only a low note than the higher strings. So it still works. So what you want to do when you're doing your alternate basses is make sure that you don't stop your strum. You want to begin to practice it slowly with your hands starting to move like this. And so my strumming motion for the alternate bass note is the same as for the full strum itself. Now, a G chord, when I'm doing the bass on that, if I'm doing the root here on the 6, it's easy because it's the 6th string, I can't miss. Now, there I hit the 4th string. And most of the time I'll probably really just get that 4th string, but I don't slow my hand down to precisely pick it. I aim at it from the motion of the strum itself. That's the really important takeaway that I want you to get from this lesson. Another thing that will help you out is when you're doing the C chord and you're doing your alternate bass on that, it's a really good idea to overlap on that finger. We don't put it down as I might, when I'm playing stricter pieces, I'll have my distal joints right here, very upright on the note, and keep a very strict C chord. If I were playing a classical piece, I would do it like that. But if I am doing a C chord in a song where I'm strumming, I'll be very lazy about it, probably put it down like this. I will either overlap with the 3rd finger to make sure that I'm blocking the 6th string so that when I slam down with a pick, I don't have to worry whether it hits the 6th string because I really don't want to hear the 6th string. So I block it out on that C chord. You could also do that with your thumb. And then when you need your alternate bass, you just lift your 3rd finger. So that really helps with the C chord. D chord's a little more of a challenge. The root of the chord, so the first note of the alternate strum, is going to be the it's going to be that 4th string. So I can go, and even here, I'm being pretty accurate about just getting those basses, but I am not stopping my strum. I'm aiming for it with the same motion that I am using for the strum. One last tip when you're doing strumming in general on an acoustic guitar, it's always best to use a medium to thin pick. I don't like these for individual picking because we don't want the pick to give when we're doing individual picking. But on a strum, it's really nice to have that slappy kind of sound of the pick on the string. Okay, so hopefully that will give you a lot of information to improve your strumming and your alternate basses with strumming.